Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently working on trying to make our way through this choke point. It's not ideal, that's for sure. I'm thinking we may want to further reduce our number of troops here and pull, say, somewhere around 16 of these units back over here. So that would be a temporary assignment, and we just have them be assigned to area defense. Let's just move them out into a different army like this. Let's just move them into this army temporarily. So we'll just do it like that. That'll be fine. These guys should still have their order up here. And eventually, yeah, there we go. These 16 are going to pull their way out. And that will help our supply situation considerably over here while still providing us with a lot of defensive capacity here. So that should help matters at least somewhat. And we'll continue trying to push our way through here. Again, if we can take this tile, that's a very big deal. Now, we had talked previously about getting Navy in here, and this is still something that would be very interesting. Unfortunately, these permissions are just not ideal. Not right now. There are some things we could try to do about it. Like, for example, we could go after Athens, which might not be a bad idea. What do they have? If we did that, that would give us access to go after Z13 here. But that would not solve our problem necessarily. But then we'd be able to go after Z30, hypothetically. I'm talking myself into this. Okay, so we would then start justifying out over this direction. That's not even gonna be a little bit of world tension. So for now, that seems fine. This is not going to be a particularly big problem. I want to move, say, this tank unit over to here then. So that would mean we'd want them to be frontlining not there, but rather they'd want to be frontlining here, like that. Okay, we'll get them over here with their goal being to simply offensive line straight through here like this. Now that's going to take some time and we'll get redeployed on over. So that seems okay for now. We do have some unassigned divisions here. These are, of course, going to go into our reserve here. Okay, so that looks good for now. We have research slots available, but I don't think we have anything to actually research unless we've finished a special project, which we may have. But I don't think we did. Yeah, I'm like 95% certain that we don't have anything to do here. Yeah, so I'm just going to right-click that. We're going to get rid of that for the moment. So that's fine. We're going to keep attacking, keep pressuring here. This is not super likely that we take this anytime soon at this moment. We have a hard time pushing into the mountains. We can see what happens if we try to hard commit to this. It's interesting, but I don't think they'll let this happen. We can push back the units that are here, but they have these guys right here, and they can just rotate fresh units in and out, and they can do this basically forever. So that is, of course, a bit of a problem for us. Our long-term backup strategy right now is definitely taking this. 100%, that would be the goal. So we're still fighting over here. Even if we manage to open up this front, I think we're still going to have considerable issues. And those issues are largely going to be the fact that they've got significant numbers on us, and they always will. So that's definitely a bit of an issue. They've got a lot of manpower on hand. We can develop more manpower. So that's not that big of a concern. They are, yeah, there they go. They're now moving these reinforcements in, and this is going to cause this attack to fail immediately, and it's just not worth continuing this attack at this point. Now, it looks like our general disagreed, and immediately resumed the attack just with these tanks, but it's still not worth carrying this attack out. Stop it. Seriously, stop it for now. Okay, this guy is on balanced attack. Well, we'll let him continue with that. As long as it's a relatively small scale attack, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So pushing through over here should be pretty simple for our tank army that's here. I do want to get land fort. Okay, it is built there already. So they're not going to really be able to push us back very effectively. How long until we have this justification done? Oh, that's very fast. 75 days. Okay, that sounds good. So from there, our next plan would be to take this. So this is Z30 up here. We would need to at least take over all of Z30. I don't know if there's a crossing here in Hoi. So that's going to be an interesting question. No doubt about that. So this is going to move us to contested. This is not going to be on the Bosporus. We're not going to have any control on the Bosporus. And it's currently neutral. I think this would move us to contested. No, it would still be neutral, wouldn't it? Or maybe it would move us to friend. I'm not sure. But that would just get us access into the Bosporus Strait. We wouldn't have access through here, right? Through the Bosporus. That would be the problem. Taking the Dardanelles is all well and good, but we need to invade up here if we want to take the entirety of the Bosporus, which would be the dream. That would absolutely be the dream. So we're continuing to attack out over here, and it feels like we should be making progress, but I'm not 100% convinced that we are. Again, they can just shuffle reinforcements back and forth over here basically forever. And we can keep this going basically forever as well. The main difference there is we'll eventually run out of manpower, but I mean, that's going to take a very long time. They're not moving reinforcements in right now. I'm not going to touch this. But we're making progress here. Okay, now they're moving the reinforcements. Hard commit. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to be able to push our way through this immediately, but we can continue to do damage to them, and now we can back off on this commit, and we can go back to what we were doing previously. And we'll just let this grind away for now. We'll fight that in a war of attrition style. I do believe... I don't know if they're gaining more than we are or not. They probably are. We were roughly equal before they went to service by requirement, right? So they're on service by requirement, which gives them 10%. What are the requirements for going to all adults serve? They need to be at war, more than 70% war support, and more than 0% surrender progress. Estimated enemy strength ratio of 75% or more compared to our army. They might not qualify for that, actually. Our army is quite a lot smaller than theirs. So they might not be able to go up to another level. Now, we know that they've got 10% access to their core population, and we've got 8%. Our overall population, well, we know that our total manpower is 15.25 million. Which is what percent of our overall population? I don't know. But it should be 8%, actually. That's what that should be. So we know that their population is going to be a decent amount higher, right? We don't know too much about their actual population statistics, I don't think. Yeah, this is their army intel at this moment. We know that they've deployed 5 to 7 million. That's fine. What I'm trying to see right now is a gauge on their base population compared to our base population. And we need to keep in mind also that a lot of these areas are going to be places like this, where the compliance is going to grow and get better over time. And the resistance is going to decay. So that's going to improve for us over time as well. But I think we just continue to grind away here right now and start working on our backup plan. If we make progress here, fantastic. But if that happens, that's a mistake on their part, not a genius level breakthrough on our part, right? So we'll just continue to pressure here. If the pressure succeeds, amazing. We're delighted about that. But we're not necessarily like fully committed to this has to be the only way to make our way in. That's not going to be the case. We're going to have this out over here very, very shortly. And no one has yet guaranteed them, so that's very, very good. This is going to be done in just a couple of days, and we're going to declare this war immediately, with the goal being to take over the Dardanelles and the Bosporus. But that will require further issues later on. Okay, so let's go ahead and conquer this, and these guys are going to launch their attack immediately. So we've opened up another front here, and presumably these wars didn't get consolidated, did they? Maybe they did. They did. Okay. So that's noted. We're just going to slowly push our way through Athens over here. And are these Ukrainian troops? That's the Ukrainian flag. The Athenian flag is just black. I don't know what's going on with that. That's probably a weird side effect of the import, but whatever. That's fine. We're going to make progress through here eventually. The dawn of the Middle Eastern Pact, huh? DR Arabia. Okay, that's these guys. Sure. If you want to do that, that's fine. We'll just get this set up, and if they join the war, we'll be ready to go. Okay, Ukraine joined Athens, and Athens called DR Arabia. So we've got forces already responding to this. We can grab this army here, or we could grab an infantry army that's up over here, like these guys. And we can just move them in over here as well, just to be on the safe side. Not that I expect any problems over here, to be clear. So we're going to lose a little bit of ground here, but that's not a problem. Over this direction, we have gained a little ground, and supplies are going to be a little tight out over this direction, but this isn't surprising. So we're just going to continue to push in out over here. And these guys, they don't have the capacity to be able to fight for very long. What about these guys? They are similar. They don't have the capacity to fight for very long either. So we've got these forces on the way in over here, and we are beginning to pressure them in the north. They're making some gains in the south, but this doesn't matter. We're going to get them encircled, and this is not an issue. Okay. So we'll get that done, and I'm going to tell the infantry that are over here as well that their mission is to offensive line just directly in like this. Okay, get in there. So it's going to take us a little bit to get in position for that, but that's not going to dramatically change the outlook of this war. Until they get crushed, anyway. So we see that Athens has multiple flags there. Z30 just joined the Middle Eastern Pact. That's these guys. So that's interesting. So Athens called in Z30. We don't have any borders with them. And that's fine for the moment. So they're not very threatening. And we're starting to push back. What's these guys called again? DR Backer or something like that? Yeah, something along those lines. We're starting to push them back. They're in collapse at this moment, and this is pretty over on this side. So that seems good. We'll get that taken over, and did they have any resources? No. Okay. Well, that's fine. We'll be able to at least leverage a tiny bit of manpower out of them, and that will be something. So yeah, as we can see here, they are collapsing. That's not going well for them. Out over on this side, I don't think there's any way to cross this as of right now, although we can, once we get this taken over, I do want to start justifying on these guys. Let's get that going. We're already at war here, so that's convenient. We do need some additional supplies up over this direction. So I want to build in some land forts up over here. And then I'm going to build a supply hub just behind this, like that. And we're going to queue that on up to be a level 5 railway, about like this. So at least get that started. The main issue here, of course, is... Oh, they're attacking us. They should not be attacking us. But our supplies over here are a bit thin. But we're making progress. That seems good. How's it going up here? Well, that's still basically status quo. We may or may not get anything out of that. So that's all fine for now. These guys, though, they're about to collapse. They're beginning to stack wipe, and this is pretty over. Excellent. So these guys are going to go back to reserves. They're about to capitulate. There we go. Excellent. And then we can see we'll get a teeny tiny amount of manpower out of this. Not much, but a teeny tiny amount. 1 recruitable manpower. Cool. 83 recruitable up over here, apparently. But this was not part of their territory to begin with, so it'll require some compliance growth. That's understood. So out over this direction, they're trying to attack our tank units here, and did we manage to get a level of land fort? We got a level. Okay. How about infrastructure down over here? That's all fine. So they're continuing to attack our tank units here, and this is okay. Eventually we'll get this completed, and that'll take a little time. We'll make some progress on this factory here, or rather on the land forts here and there. But I'm fine with them continuing to exhaust themselves here. These are all Athenian troops over this way at this moment. If Ukraine sends troops over, it could be problematic for us, but we would just send forces here and bottleneck them. That wouldn't be a big deal. So that's not particularly threatening for us. And all we need now is for this supply force. That's not the word. This logistics hub to get built. So that'll be about a month, and that's okay. Should have built this earlier, but it's fine. So we're at war with Z30. We're going to be at war with these guys. I'm not going to declare that. Well, actually, I might declare it once it's ready. Just to make sure that nobody, you know, does anything sketchy, like guaranteeing them. That'd be very rude if they did that. We'd prefer that they didn't. We made progress. This is progress. Hang on. This is progress. That wasn't expected. We definitely want to build up land forts here, make it more difficult for them to push us back, but this is distinct progress. So I'm going to start building a logistics hub here. That's not a safe location right now, but it will be. And then we're just going to build this rail on the way up, and no infrastructure access over here, so that's noted. What about any anti-air access? Do we need anti-air over here? Yes, that's fine. No anti-air over here to be had. Okay. I'm surprised that we made progress over here, actually. I was not expecting that. How's Ukraine doing on the manpower at this moment? 7 to 8 million? That number has dropped. That's a good sign. Okay. So we're continuing to try to attack out over here. We need to get this logistics hub done before we can probably make too much progress here. But we've now started to get some levels of land fort over this way. And they're continuing to try to attack our tank units here. That's fine. Our logistics over here will get finished soon enough. We've got our land forts over here, and that's all looking good. No problem as of right now, but we do want to continue to push up over here. Now, this is a very extensive front out here, and this is going to break into 2 fronts, essentially. So that's understood, but they're not going to let us break into this easily, and as of right now, I don't anticipate that being an easy thing to do. This is going to be much more simple, and all we're waiting on for this is this logistics hub finishing. 7 February. Oh, okay. I thought this was going to be in January. It is not. Noted. So supplies out over here are tough. Again, I should have built this earlier, but for now, this is fine. Okay, the question is, do we want to immediately declare on Aden now, or do we want to wait? Either way, it's a risk. They only have 3K manpower. We declare it now. Okay. Perfect. So they joined the Middle Eastern Pact, and at this moment, yeah, Ukraine called in Z13 as our ally. This all consolidated together. Sounds good. So they're still busily working out over this direction. We need logistics built up over this way, which is not surprising. And this hub is going to be done when? This is going to be this one, 27 March. Okay. That's going to take a little time. So that's noted. We are, of course, taking a lot of attacks right here. This doesn't matter that much as long as our tanks don't get pushed out, which they're attacking here very consistently, and our tank organization is falling. We may want to consider bringing in a few infantry here. I'm going to bring in just 4. Apparently we can't assign them. That's exciting. I'm not sure why we can't assign them to this. This is Army 6. Okay, that's very exciting. Let's try that again. Yeah, we can't assign them here. I don't know why. Oh, it's because they're assigned to this. I'm dumb. They already have that assignment. We need to grab guys from down here. This is 5 units. That's good enough. So I'm going to put them in right up over here, and that's now correct. So we're going to bring them in to help defend this, and they'll take a little while to get there. Just go ahead and get there. I don't care about the supply issue. The supply issue will be alleviated in about a month. So by the time they get there, they'll relieve this tank force. And yeah, we can see the tank force is starting to retreat. This is not surprising at all. They've been attacking here just constantly. Even if we get pushed back here, that's fine. Because getting pushed back to here, we've built a lot more land fort in. And it's much better supplied for us. So we're going to get our infantry up over this direction. Eventually they'll arrive here. Did they stop? No, they didn't. Okay, so they're going to arrive up over here eventually. What? They just overran our entire tank force there. Wild. Okay. Well then. That is very rude. That is very, very rude. So we're going to push over to here, and we're going to step up our recruitment of tankers. So we're going to get a few more of these armored divisions here. So I'm going to take this up to 8 divisions. And what are we short on to actually make this? Mechanized. I can't say I'm surprised about that. So I'd like to double our amount of mechanized production. And of course, steel is going to be an issue. We're going to need like 25 military factories here. So this is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6. That's an additional 3, so that's 9. That's 10, 11, 12. That is 16. That's an additional 4, so that's 20, 22, and that's more than enough. Okay, so we'll get all of that going. We'll produce more mechanized. It looks like they've pushed us back over here a little bit as well, I think. This is because of logistics out in this area. So the unfortunate thing here is they took this position before we retreated to it, and that means our logistics over here are going to be in a dire state. So these tanks are on the way in, and our infantry are not here yet. They will arrive soon. But our tanks have arrived, and they're going to start attacking over here. We'll be able to push our way through this, but that was a painful loss. I'm actually going to step this up to 12 units of tanks that are being trained at a time, because we need to replace those tanks, and we were already a bit behind on our tanks. So we'll get some additional production going on our mechanized equipment. That'll be fine. But we're very short on our steel right now. And I think that's because they've closed the Bosporus to us, but it's fine. This is the entire point of this, is that we're supposed to take over the Bosporus. But that was a pretty devastating blow right there. I did not expect them to overtake our tanks there, and with infantry, no less, and overrun them. That was wild. Regardless, we can always bring in more, and it's not the end of the world. So our infantry that are currently up here is these guys, and they're busily attacking. I want them to also be offensive lining. Can we get up here? No. Okay. I want them to be offensive lining like this. So we're going to push these guys back, and this is fine, but logistics are going to be a bit tough. Because, unfortunately, we didn't actually get this built. It's very sad. However, this we did get built. Did we build this guy up over here? The answer is no. So we're going to get another HUD going in up here. So that was definitely a little bit of a painful setback, but it's not the end of the world. We're pushing them back again over here, and we'll get this taken again. And then we're going to build our logistics here again as soon as we have this ready to go. I want all of you guys, like everyone, commit to this. Push them back, take this again. So that's all absolutely fine. What do we need for tanks? Well, we're actually good on tanks, and we've not started putting any additional factories into our mechanized. Understood. We'll have that very soon. So doubling our production of mechanized should help that a lot. They're moving reinforcements in here, but they can't win this. So that's understood. Out over this direction, our supplies are still a bit grim, but we're working on a supply hub here now. And we should be able to continue to push our way through here for the moment. So that's a little awkward for us for sure, but it's not the end of the world by any means. We'll continue to push in over this way, and these guys, these have 3 to 4K manpower. These guys, they're dropping in their amount of manpower like an absolute rock. So that's looking good. So we're weakening them considerably out over this way. Very awkward situation here, but it's manageable. All we need to do now is we need to get all of these military factories built. So if we check in here, we can see we're up to 32 at this moment. And yeah, we've got a big steel shortage. No shockers there. No shockers at all. That is almost certainly because of what's going on over here. The enemy has full control over the Bosporus at this moment. So yeah, we need to get this taken. And that is indeed exactly what we're going to do. So we're just going to continue to punch in through here. That's fine. Out over this direction, this attack is still kind of floundering at the moment. I'm not surprised about that. We'll just keep working on this. This is not terribly concerning at this juncture. Okay, so how are we doing on getting mechanized out at this moment? So if we take a look at our mechanized, we can see that we're definitely going to get a lot more production efficiency cap. We're up to 19.25 per day. Okay, well, we're definitely boosting our mechanized production. Our tank production, though, it's not good. This is because of our lack of steel and chrome. And this is almost certainly because of nonsense that's going on over this way. So we know that these guys are currently opposed to us. And we're just going to keep pushing in over here. This is okay. Again, we're absolutely fine with this. We're noting that these lads, as the autosave occurs, we're noting that these lads, they're losing their amount of manpower quite quickly. I want to check in on Ukraine here. Okay. It's a bit hard to tell, but I think Ukraine is also losing manpower at a fairly decent rate. So that seems good. We're going to get this logistics hub done over here quite soon, which will help us push up. But again, this isn't the primary goal over here. If we can get this cleared out, that's going to be big. Unfortunately for us, they were able to attack more regularly than I thought they would be able to over here. And I really didn't see that overrun coming. So that's kind of wild. Okay, commit to this. Get them pushed out of here. We don't see if they have any forces here or not. But we're about to get them pushed here. Okay, they are trying to move somebody in. Keep committing. 3 more days. Oof. So yeah, they're continuing to move forces in here. Lithuanian fascist revolt just joined this. Okay. That's awkward. That's very awkward. I don't think that matters, but it's fine. So down over here, I want to take a look here. 82 to 108, now 72 to 115. We just don't have very good intel out over there is the answer. So I do want to continue to work on our cryptology department. We'll get that going, but for now, this seems fine. So we've got a couple of infantry divisions here, and I'm going to send them up over here. Now, that means that they're going to sit here, and that's absolutely understood. We're making some amount of progress here, but what we really need is to be punching in over this way. That's the dream. We're doing damage to these guys, definitely. They can't keep this up forever, and they will collapse probably next episode, but it's going to take a little bit of time. I was hoping that they'd collapse a lot faster than this, but we just didn't have the logistics in place up over this way, and we're going to need to build them. So that's going to be interesting. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible. including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge, Eskio, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.